Well, how do? Welcome into Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I don't know what that is. I'll tell you what that was. Acting. Because this week, doing songs by actors.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette. We've got pop, rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are final, but you never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
I'm loving music again. Hey there, indeed. You heard me earlier. I told you this is Jimmy's Records and Tapes. Why would I have lied? Welcome in. Now's the time. Sit down. You know what? We don't have chairs. Go ahead. Crisscross applesauce it up. Sit there. Get comfortable. I'm about to tell you some stories about the olden days. I think the newest song on this list today is from 1986. Everything else is from the 60s and the 70s. I'm going to be doing songs by actors. When an actor is so popular, he then gets a recording contract. Sort of the kind of things that, I'll give him a nice plug, Bizarre Albums. My buddy Tony Thaxton hosts that podcast, and he will cover stuff like this when, the third banana on General Hospital now has a record. Now, was General Hospital a good example? No, because Rick Springfield came from General Hospital, and he was a huge success musically. These are folks, we know them as actors, right? They love the boards, like to get out there, the memorization, the interaction. It's all in the eyes, acting. Number 5. And by the way, I recognize all these songs stink on one level or another. They could have been on my episode of songs that are my favorite horrible songs that are good. These kind of fit into that too, with the exception of one I think is unfairly maligned. But number 5, She's Like the Wind from Patrick Swayze. 1987, it's off the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. It went to number 3. It was written by Patrick Swayze and Stacey Weidells. And I don't know why they didn't form a duo called Swayze and Stacey. Hey, it's Swayze and Stacey. She's like the wind. Right, Stacey? And then Stacey would sing some stuff. I assume. Maybe she's just a writer. I don't know anything about her. I know a lot. I know way too much about Patrick Swayze. Fun fact, this song, while it landed on the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, was actually written for the movie Grandview, USA. It was supposed to be about Jamie Lee Curtis's character in that movie. And also, Rob Lowe apparently said that Swayze tried to convince them to use this song in Youngblood. And everybody said no. And then he brings it over to the Dirty Dancing, and they said, let's do it. And of course, the thing shoots up the charts. And I like it a lot, but I recognize, oh boy, does it stink. My wife makes me laugh whenever this song comes on, because she sings this. I've got a Schwinn. That's fun. Anyway, that makes me laugh. And number 5, Swayze, Stacey, She's Like the Wind. Number 4, from 1977. This went to number 1. From Starsky and Hutch, you had Paul Michael Glaser, and you had David Soul. And remember, Starsky and Hutch was great. They had those shoes, the blue shoes with the stripes that then every kid had to have. They had that car, the red car with the stripe down the side. Everything was cool about Starsky and Hutch. So why wouldn't Hutch release the sappiest, most awful ballad ever in 1977? I'm talking, of course, about Don't Give Up on Us. Don't give up on us, baby. Written by Tony McCauley, who also wrote Build Me Up Buttercup for the Foundations. Last night I didn't get to sleep at all, and love grows where my rosemary goes. He wrote all those songs, this Tony McCauley. Who is this guy? Right now he's probably sitting in a diner. Nobody knows who he is, but he's got a gazillion dollars because he wrote all these hits. There are songs that we all have them, that you remember exactly where you were the first time you heard it, or it flashes back to a location or a smell, and that song just brings great memories. This song, Don't Give Up on Us by David Soul, I remember very distinctly hearing it for the first time at a store called Service Merchandise. I don't know if they were nationwide, but they were big in Chicago. And we would go there, and I was always confused on why they had so little inventory. It was a catalog store, and this was the catalog showroom, and they had some products, but mostly you would just go there and look through their catalog and then order something, and it would either be shipped to you, or in the back there was this weird conveyor belt that then the product would come down the conveyor belt, and then you would wait for it and then take it. So we used to go there about once a week, my friends and I. We would go to Service Merchandise, And like, look at the jewelry. I don't know what we were doing in there. It's like they had a record section that maybe it was 7 albums, but that was enough for us. It was weird because it was also in the same strip mall as a Corvette's, which then turned into a Wilco. I think I mentioned that in the past. And we would go there and we would have popcorn and Slurpees, and then we'd run around the store. And one particular time, they had it was kind of getting cold, so they had those ski masks that you'd wear that cover your entire face because it's Chicago and it's freezing. But they had Spider-Man. You could look like Spider-Man, or you look like Captain America or Batman. And we put them on, and we're running around. And the overhead announcement, we heard, "Security, get the guy in the Spider-Man mask." And I hid behind an ironing board and was never found because I was a tiny, tiny boy, and the ironing board was my cover. Anyway, David Soul, don't give up on us. It stinks. But you know what? He had a big hit with it, and I love Starsky and Hutch. Revisit it. It's a good show. Number 3, another clunker. Went to number 10, 1976. Nobody in the world was bigger than John Travolta. Vinnie Barbarino, Saturday Night Fever, Grease. This was before all that. Kind of. No, I guess Welcome Back Kotter was happening. Gary Benson and Harry Himes wrote this. Let her in. Gonna let her in, oh, gonna let her into my life. One time we're coming back from the beach. I'm in the car. It's my brother and I are in the back seat, and my dad is driving. And we were sleeping. And that song came on the radio, or at least I was laying down in the back because my dad had a hatchback. We put the seat down, and I was laying down, and that song came on, and my dad, rightfully, immediately went to turn it off because it's horrible. But I thought it'd be funny to do. There was a Bugs Bunny cartoon once where he jolts up from sleeping and goes, "Turn that light off!" And so I, in the car, went, "Turn that back on!" Like I got up to be funny, and my dad just went, "No way, buddy." He was right. That song stinks. But John Travolta's great, and Summer Nights went to number 8, and You're the One That I Want, of course, went to number 1. So John had some hits, in addition to being Vinnie Barbarino. Is that a good impression? Nope. Number 2, another piece of junk, but I like it. 1986, this went to number 5, Heartbeat by Don Johnson. Miami Vice was so huge, they gave this guy, who literally cannot sing, a recording contract. The album went to number 17. He was voted Best New Vocalist in a Rolling Stone poll. It could be a great song in the hands of somebody else. Eric Katz wrote along with Wendy Waldman. Helen Reddy did a version of it, and I love Helen Reddy. I'm crazy for Helen Reddy because my mom was so into her. And it's okay. It's okay. I was hoping it'd be a little bit better. But the Don Johnson, it's one of those things like people get mad at me because I think Cameron Crowe is actually pretty good in the Les Mis movie, even though he's flat and can't really sing all that well. That's kind of like this. Don Johnson can't really sing that great, but it works for this song. Heartbeat, his raspy voice, right? Sonny Crockett, he's feeding that alligator. Then he's going to go to the recording studio and do the song. Number 2, Heartbeat by Don Johnson. Again, this could be songs that are so bad they're good, kind of a list. And number 1, and this song is very polarizing. It's written by the great Jimmy Webb. Donna Summer also did a version of it. This one went to number 2 in 1968. Richard Harris's MacArthur Park. And again, he's not a great singer, even though he was in Camelot. He had a couple of solo albums. Didn't We, I believe? Didn't we, girl? A tramp shining. MacArthur's Park. The line alone of Striped Pair of Pants makes this a number 1 song on any list. I love Jimmy Webb. He's one of my favorite songwriters in the world. I think Richard Harris is honestly the best, worst singer that there is. And MacArthur Park. Is it ridiculous? Is it long? Is it awful? Sure. You want to say so? Great. Do I love it? Yes, I do. And I stand behind it. Number 1, MacArthur Park is melting in the rain at number 1. Hey, it's time for this week's Jimmy's Choice. You know the drill. Email me, fanclub@jimmypardo.com. Twitter, #Jimmy's Choice. And give me 2 artists and make me decide between one for whatever reason. It could be arbitrary. I just kind of decide. This one came in via email from a young lady named Shannon. She wants to know 90s Garth Brooks or 90s Toby Keith. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because this is 90s Toby Keith before he went nuts. This is, should have been a cowboy. Who's that man? Oh my God, wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. I've said it before on this show. I had a horrible breakup in 1994, I believe it was. Yeah. I somehow got involved in country music because every song seemed to be, they understand me, man. And Toby Keith with that, who's that man? And wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. And then he's got a song called He Ain't Worth Missing that I was singing in my car. She ain't worth missing. I would change up the gender to try to relate it to my life. I also would do a lot of Toby Keith at karaoke because those are fun songs to sing. Garth Brooks, of course, Thunder Rolls, The Dance, Unanswered Prayers, and of course the other karaoke favorite, I Got Friends in Low Places. Saw Garth Brooks in concert once. Phenomenal. He's great, whether you like him or not. And I kind of like him. The concert was great. But for this, I think because his songs got me through a breakup, got to choose 90. And this pains me because he's gone nuts. 90s Toby Keith. Thanks so much for watching this week's Jimmy's Records and Tapes. If you liked it, click the like button, ring the bell, tell your friends about it, so on and so forth. Go back and listen and watch old episodes if you want to. Or if you're new to us, watch them for the first time. There's a lot of fun episodes out there. We have a Spotify playlist that a gentleman is nice enough to put together. Just search Jimmy's Records and Tapes, songs from all 4 seasons of Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm on Twitter at Jimmy Pardo, and of course, I host the award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny. So until I see you somewhere else, the record is back in its sleeve.